What's up guys, CJ here and welcome back to another all-new episode of Origins, where we break down the history of your favorite movie, TV, and video game characters on and off the screen. This week, in honor of his triumphant return to theaters after a 35-year wait, we'll be diving into the origins of Rick Deckard, the titular detective from 1982's Blade Runner, ahead of Blade Runner 2049 gunning into theaters this Friday. And to help with the rest of the video, let's start by breaking down a couple of terms. First, a replicant is an artificial synthetic human created for use in the military and in humanity's off-world colonies with a limited 4-year lifespan. Our second term is Blade Runner. After a bloody replicant-led mutiny on an off-world colony, the synthetic humanoids were outlawed on Earth. This led to the creation of a force of specialized replicant hunters to track down any hiding on the planet, the Blade Runners. And this leads us to Rick Deckard. Deckard was once a Blade Runner, but by the events of the first movie, he had been retired for some time, spending his days slurping noodles and reading the news as far as the audience knows. After another Blade Runner, Holden, was gunned down by a replicant, Deckard was called out of retirement for a special assignment. Somehow, 6 Nexus 6 replicants had gotten loose on Earth, 2 of which had been retired by the events of the film. That leaves 4 for Deckard to take down: Roy Batty, a commando; Leon, a laborer; Jorah, a sex worker and assassin; and Pris, another standard pleasure model. Along the way, Deckard's search led him to the Tyrell Corporation, the developers of the Nexus 6 and potentially the only manufacturers of replicants as far as we know. There, he discovers Rachel, an experimental replicant working as a secretary at the corporation. Rachel was specially made, implanted with the memories of Tyrell's own niece, and made to believe that she was human. This experiment was meant to curb a common problem: replicants would become erratic after developing emotions. Eldon Tyrell, the founder of the company, hoped that implanted memories would cushion that by providing a sort of emotional framework. Eventually, Deckard was successful in his job, tracking down and retiring all of the replicants except one, Roy Batty. After a heart-pounding cat-and-mouse duel, Batty had Deckard cornered, hanging by his fingertips off a roof in the rain. But then, something surprising happened. When Deckard slipped and was about to fall to his death, Batty caught him and saved his life. As the two sat in the rain on the rooftop, and after maybe one of the most memorable monologues in movie history, Batty's 4-year lifespan runs out, and he dies. In the aftermath, Deckard retires from blade running once again, and escapes with Rachel, fearing she'd be retired as well. And off they run into the unknown. Well, until Friday, that is. One of the biggest questions and conversations surrounding the film since its release has been whether or not Rick is a replicant himself. The final cut seems to suggest so, as he finds an origami unicorn when he escapes with Rachel, suggesting that not only was Gaff there, somehow he knew of a daydream Deckard had earlier in the film. But the question still isn't settled, and other cuts of the film don't include that scene, casting doubt on its validity and place in the film's canon. Specifically, Harrison Ford has said he thinks Deckard's human, but director Ridley Scott seems to disagree. Gaff at the very end leaves an origami, and it's a unicorn. Now, the unicorn in Deckard's daydream tells me that Deckard wouldn't normally talk about such a thing to anyone. If Gaff knew about that, it's Gaff's message to say, "I've read your file, mate." As for recommended viewing, of course, be sure to watch the original 1982 Blade Runner. As we've mentioned sort of throughout this video, there are 4 different cuts of the movie, so sometimes it can be difficult to choose one to watch. I personally, and many others, feel the final cut is the most definitive version, the closest to Ridley Scott's vision, as he had complete editorial control on that one and that one only, and it comes down pretty clearly on the Rick Deckard Replicant Debate. Of course, for the continuation of the story, be sure to check out Blade Runner 2049 in theaters this Friday. It of course returns Harrison Ford as Rick Deckard, with Ryan Gosling as new Blade Runner Officer K, Ana de Armas as Joy, Sylvia Hoeks as Love, and Jared Leto as Neander Wallace. For recommended reading, the only thing we can really wholeheartedly recommend is Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, the Philip K. Dick novel that was adapted into the first Blade Runner. It's definitely recommended, though, and not required. I mean, outside of the central plot, general setting, and most of the characters, the connections to the movie are tenuous at best, but it is a great read and a deeper look behind the scenes at the world that became Blade Runner. That's gonna do it for this episode of Origins, though. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to smash that like if you like what you saw, subscribe for more great content every single day, and consider turning on your notifications to be alerted every time we upload a new video. For written reviews, news, and articles, be sure to check out our website at www.hybridnetworkyt.com. And if you love Hybrid Network and want to take your support to the next level, be sure to support us on Patreon. Signing off, this is CJ et al. See you next time.